Hello everyone, it's Dr. Sam. I'd like to welcome you to my EyeClarity podcast. This is a show that offers cutting-edge information on how to improve your vision and overall wellness through holistic methods. I so appreciate you spending part of your day with me. If you have questions, you can send them to hello@drsamberne.com. Now, to the latest EyeClarity episode. Hey everybody, it's Dr. Sam. I'd like to welcome you to Facebook Live tonight. So we've got a lot of questions to get to, and we're going to go about 30 minutes or so. If you've got any questions, you can type them in below. You can always email me at hello@drsamberne.com, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. In the meantime, a couple of announcements. So my online workshop is a go. It's going to be happening October 7th to the 9th. And it's a deep immersion. We call it the Vision Sanctuary Retreat. And it's going to be 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The very good news about this is that if you can't make it live, it will be recorded. And if you register, you will have access to the workshop for 60 days. You also will receive a discount on all my products by taking this class. And it's going to be a good one. So I hope you explore it, think about it, register for it. If you're having any struggles with your vision where you're not getting the answers you want, you want to increase or improve your wellness quotient, then this workshop is for you. I've done it before. I did it about a year ago, and it was very well received. People got a lot out of it. So I hope that you take it. Again, if you can't do it live, you can certainly watch the recordings and do it that way. Sometimes when I take workshops, I also can't make it live, so when I'm able to watch the recordings, I can learn a lot. So let's move to our questions. I want to say that in these questions, I'll do my best to answer it. The disclaimer is that this is for educational information only, and it's not a substitute for your medical care. And it's always good to go get an eye exam, have your eyes checked by a licensed ophthalmologist or optometrist. You can always take that information to a more naturopathic doctor like myself, but at least you have the information, you know what to look for. And being preventative and proactive is one of the principles that I talk about, so it's important to check in with somebody on a professional level and make sure things are going well. So this first question I want to take is about the organic hexane-free castor oil. And this particular treatment is really good for the inflammatory situation that can occur in your eyes. And one of the reasons why I like using castor oil is because it has qualities of an anti-inflammatory agent. It's also very moisturizing, and it's addressing the part of the eyeball that's related to the eyelid. And the eyelid houses the glands that produces the tears that keeps our eyes wet and moist. And if you suffer dry eye or you're on a screen for hours upon hours and hours a day, then the castor oil eye massage is great to do in the evening. I really like how it moisturizes your eyes, and because of the thickness, it starts to absorb into your eyes as you go to sleep, but because of the thickness, it tends to do so in a very slow fashion. Now, what you can do is you can use the castor oil at other times during the day. Say in the morning, you can do it, anytime. It's just you want to be careful that you don't get it in your eyes, because it is going to make things temporarily a little blurry. So in order to make sure that you're not dealing with that, I just use a little bit, and it goes on the outside part of my eyelids with my eyes closed. I actually still do it myself. I like to do it in the evening before bedtime. When we sleep, that's when our eyes get the most dry. But you can do it at other times a day. Now, somebody is asking a question about different eye drops for cataracts reversing, lens health. And I've talked about the Oculomed eye drops, which has glutathione and vitamin C. There's another eye drop that somebody is using right now, which has N-acetylcysteine, NAC. That is phenomenal for lens health. It's a great antioxidant. So it's really challenging to make an eye drop or an eye ointment without putting, things like boric acid or citric acid or purified benzoyl alcohol, sterile water, potassium bicarbonate. That's what's in this particular eye drop. This one is fine to use. So, I think that because of the NAC and the carnosine, N-acetylcarnosine, this is really a great antioxidant for the lens. And any of these things that you use, even if they are natural, they can cause reactions in your eyes. So you need to be listening and watching, because you know your body better than anybody, and you could be taking the best dietary supplement or herbal formula. It can cause reactions, and some of those reactions can be a detoxification trigger. So, if that happens as you use this, like this gentleman is asking these questions about the, what's in it, if you start getting a lot of redness or irritation, then either you have to discontinue, you might talk to the manufacturer about it, find out what their experience has been, or maybe just discontinue and you've got to use something else. Remember, dietary supplements are just that. They're supplements. And the best way to get nutrients into your body is through live plant-based foods. Non-GMO, organic, and making sure your internal climate, your gut is healthy. So if you're suffering, inflammatory gut disease or candida, mold, heavy metals, you can eat the best food possible, but it comes down to an absorption level. So with this gentleman, I think, again, I would probably check in with somebody, naturopath or functional medicine doctor, to see what you could do. Now, another question that comes in a lot is progressive lenses. And I would not throw away progressive lenses. So you've got them, they are convenient, but you just need to use them in the circumstances where you're shifting from near to far quickly. And so one option is like when you drive and then you go to the store and you need to see the labels. Probably a good idea to use the progressive lenses. You don't want to be fumbling around. I'm not necessarily a proponent of getting 3 different pairs of glasses. No, I wouldn't do that. I think I would just get one pair where you have the highest visually intensive experience. So that's probably going to be your screen time. Interestingly, I was working with a lady yesterday and we determined that she was going to get in the progressive lenses the middle prescription for the computer. And then when she was using her Kindle and phone, she was just going to increase the size of the font so that she could continue to use the computer prescription magnification. And that's a trick that you can use by increasing the font size of your screens. You don't need to look through as much magnification. Remember, the higher the magnification, the more it's disconnecting you from your eyes. But I would keep the progressive lenses and use them when you need them, and just get one pair of other glasses, the ones that are single vision that you use the most. You know, I get these questions about eye exercises, and if you've got cataracts and lazy eye, are the exercises okay to use? Well, again, they are, but you have to, see how much time you have and how they respond to you. Now, a lot of these questions you can answer yourself. You don't need me to answer it. You need to use your intuition. You need to watch how they make you feel. You need to watch if they're giving you improvements. So they become silly after a while asking so many of these kinds of questions. You can certainly do your vision exercises for sure. You can do them for cataract reversal, for lazy eye, and you just have to decide which diagnosis is the one you want to work on the most. So if you've got cataracts, if you're able to reverse those, that's an incredible change that can be life-changing because you then don't need the surgery. So I would probably start with that first, and then you could do the lazy eye eye exercise program. All right, I'm scanning through here. Nicole is asking, I desire to get out of my transitional bifocals every year. They're getting worse. I've had 3 TBIs, the last one in 2016. Well, when you have a TBI, it definitely shakes up your eye muscles, the nerves around the eyes. And, I was talking to a friend of mine today who does body work. She's a trauma specialist. She does orthobiotomy and craniosacral therapy. You may not know what those are, but those are body-centered therapies. And we were talking about trauma. And with trauma, when we get traumatized, whether it's physical, emotional, energetic, whatever it is, our body freezes in that moment. And when it freezes, it creates a paralysis in the area where we've, absorbed the trauma. So the first and foremost thing to do, Nicole, if you've had TBI, you should be seeking out a craniosacral therapist, a body worker who can help you release the trauma from the area in your body where it's most affecting you. Now, if it's a head trauma, it's going to affect your vision. And when you look through a transitional lens, bifocal lens, it's a very complicated optical design. And if your 2 eyes aren't working together, it's going to create more visual stress on top of the trauma. So the sequence is find a body worker and see if they can help you release the trauma from your body. Start doing some of my physical eye therapy exercises so that you can get your 2 eyes working together. And you're right on the money. I would probably reduce the transitional lenses and maybe get a single vision lens for the task or the circumstance where it's most intensive. So the thing is about if you're getting body work and it's still not happening, then you're going to the wrong therapist. You need to find somebody who can really help you address the trauma. Maybe it's a somatic therapist. Peter Levine, I studied with him at the Gesell Institute, and you might Google Peter Levine and work with that type of trauma. The thing is that when you say, oh, I've done this, but it's still there, that tells me that the trauma is still dominating your system and you haven't found the right modality. Usually, when you are working with a practitioner, it's less about the modality and more about the process that the person has gone through in the training. And it may be that you need to find a trauma specialist. It may be that you may need to do somatic experiencing type work. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do trauma healing. Emotional freedom technique is another one, EFT. Homeopathy might be another one. Each person develops their defense strategy around their trauma. But the thing is that if you're going to somebody who isn't really deeply, have they healed their own trauma, then this is where you hit a wall and you go, well, I've gone, there's no change, or there's a little change. 2016 is a long time, to say, well, I've gone to somebody and it hasn't worked. I would look for somebody else. I mean, they're obviously not touching it at the level you need to, and you need to keep exploring. Sometimes traumas take many, many years to heal. There's one trauma on top of another. There can be birth trauma. Adults have birth trauma and they haven't dealt with it. Sometimes there are multiple traumas, and when one trauma is on top of another, this again shuts down your body. And the key is for you to become more adept at self-regulating yourself. And that's a lifelong process, self-regulation. It might be worth it for you to come and take my retreat and see if we could make some headway on that. All right, what is the best cleanser for blepharitis and Demodex? Well, probably getting a tea tree based cleaner would be the place I would start. There are a number of tea tree eye cleaners on the market. So, the essential oil tea tree can work really well as an antiviral, antifungal agent. And they're now putting tea tree oil in these eye formulas. There's an eye foam that can work well. Demodex and blepharitis, what I would say is you need to work on the micro level, so reducing the inflammation in the eyelid, but many times there's also a systemic and metabolic reason if it's a chronic situation, like acupuncture meridians, the stomach meridian and the spleen meridian innervate the eyelids. And so sometimes getting some acupuncture redistributes the energy around the eyelids, and that can take the inflammation away. And that could be a way for you to also additionally reduce the blepharitis or the Demodex. Using a gluten-free diet, upping your fats and oils, your healthy fats and oils, specifically omega-3, eating an anti-inflammatory diet, wearing blue blockers for all your screen time. I mean, there's a lot of levels and layers to things like a blepharitis and any eyelid chronic inflammation. So, you have to kind of try different things. LipiFlow, getting a lot of heat on the eyelids. It's an expensive procedure, but it can definitely disrupt the inflammatory response that occurs on the eyelids. So lots of things that you can try, but I would definitely take a look at a tea tree oil based eye product. All right, somebody's asking, what's my view of CAN-C drops for cataracts and glaucoma? Well, I think CAN-C can be beneficial as a lubricant, and in certain types of cataracts called cortical cataracts, where the cataract is caused by a glycation process, meaning the glucose molecule attaches to the protein molecule in the lens and it creates this glucose type cataract. So it's prevalent in diabetic patients that have moderate to high levels of glucose levels, that eat, simple carbohydrates a lot, that's where CAN-C can work. For glaucoma, not so much. No, I think glaucoma, you need to take a look at how you can improve your retina circulation, your aqueous flow in the eye, and it's a situation in improving your vascular health. You have to look at things like, first of all, is there any optic nerve damage? And if there is, how much? What is the eye pressure? You may need to go on some pharmaceutical eye drops for a while. And then you can start some more natural therapies, things like ginkgo and taurine, bilberry. These are vascular supporting agents. Obviously, omega-3, the DHA, needing to protect your optic nerve more. I just did a podcast today I just saw it on my feed. Coleus is an herb. In a small study, it's been shown to bring down eye pressure. So that's a plant-based herbal formula that you could take as a tincture. Getting some acupuncture or craniosacral therapy could be helpful, improving your lymphatic health. Eating a diet that's low in inflammatory in nature, high fats and oils, the good fats. Reducing your eye stress by, again, using blue blocking glasses. So there's a lot of possibilities with neutralizing some of the effects of glaucoma, but I don't think CAN-C is one of them. I think that you've got to treat this both, again, systemically, metabolically, and really get in there on a vascular level by doing some really deep things to improve the microcapillary circulation in the retina. And CAN-C is not going to do that for you. All right. So Rob's asking about EMDR and brain spotting. Yep, you can certainly look at those things. Both of them. Here in Santa Fe, we've got a number of practitioners who do brain spotting and EMDR, so that might be another option to go. Again, I find it's less about the modality. I mean, the modality is important, but it's really the person's energy and how much trauma they've healed in their body, and and what their energy is like. Because there's an aspect of trauma around safety. Feeling safe with who you're working with and being patient around it. We want to heal things like that, and sometimes we can, but I think the reality is that it's a lifelong process, and we have things to learn on our journey, and so in that, part of the process is being patient and loving towards yourself and listening to your inner guidance on who and what kind of things you're going to do. Yeah, tea tree oil can irritate, but if it's in an eye formula, not so much. Again, it's an experimental thing. I have people that get better using castor oil eye massage, MSM drops. So I think it depends on the person's constitutional makeup, how long they've had it, what their general health is like. So I think it's an experimentation. One size doesn't fit all, but certainly, you can experiment and see what works for you. All right, let's go to this question. Hi, Frida. Nice to see you. It's been 10 weeks since you have cataract surgery, and you have a brighter visual field, but the retina docs called it retained lens fragments. Okay, what can I do to dissolve these? Well, this is a tough one because, in trying to dissolve these kinds of fragments, there really isn't a great answer here. I mean, you could certainly try things like the MSM eye drops. You could also try my essential oil eye protocol. Those are the 3 essential oils that you put around the eyes. Sweet fennel, followed by carrot seed, followed by frankincense. You could do that twice a day, as long as your skin isn't getting irritated, but you're getting a lot of oxygenation. I think another thing that I would consider is doing an exercise called long swings. That's on my website. So think about improving your overall eye lymph health. This works really well with floaters. You know, people get these floaters and it really is a lymphatic issue in the eyes. So if they do things like long swings or the eye stretching exercise, they can sometimes start flushing these floaters, or in that case, you know, collagen fragmentation particles out of the eye. So improving the lymph, maybe getting some acupuncture to clear out your liver, any of the anesthesia. You know, those would be some things that I would try. This is not an easy fix. So, you know, the key is eventually, if your lymphatic health is working better with your eyes, you don't notice them as much, and eventually they can disappear, but it takes a while. So again, my MSM drops could help, and then I would really do a lot of movement things to see if you could get the lymphatic system working. You know, you could also ask this may not be the same thing, because it sounds like sometimes a membrane will grow over the lens, and you go in and get a laser cleanup, which gets rid of the fragmentation on the lens. You get a growth over the intraocular lens from the cataract surgery. This doesn't sound like that. This sounds like it's more in the retina. And so if that is what's going on, then this would take some lymphatic focus along with the MSM. So keep me posted on that. You can definitely help. Brain spotting is similar to brain mapping. Again, you can go on YouTube and you can learn about, there are a lot of different trauma-based therapies going on now around the brain. So I would just Google it on YouTube and you can see the distinction. All right, let's go to Frances. She's talking about COVID and pneumonia. Sorry you're dealing with that, long COVID, and this has affected your vision. I just did a blog, Frances, written blog on my website where I talked about some things to help you over COVID, and I listed some research. So vitamin D3 was one of them. There are many things that I listed, so you might go to that written blog, and there's several things there that can help you. The omega-3s are really important. The fats and oils, again, exercise can be very helpful. Getting natural sunlight, improving your lymphatic health, working on your sleep cycle, balancing your endocrine health, improving your digestive health. We're all dealing with immune-based challenges. That's kind of what's going on right now, whether it's COVID or, other things that are in the environment, climate change, toxicities, stress. So you're not alone in it. But in terms of vision, what I would say is doing some of my eye exercises, like I like the long swings exercise. I like the animal eye chart exercise. I like the palm hum exercise. You can email me at hello@drsamberne.com if you can't find those, because that will get your eyes moving and get the lymph system working, and that could be very helpful, just getting your visual system back online. But you might need some support with some acupuncture or some nutritional support, more dietary supplements. I'm sorry that you're going through that. A lot of people are dealing with long COVID, and it's just something that's here now that we're dealing with. And I have seen the correlation between COVID and eye problems, but I do see people getting better as well. It just takes time. So read my blog. You'll get some good tips on what you can do, and it's all science-based. I really looked at the literature to see, okay, what are some things that you can do to boost your immune system And of course, with COVID, that's a good thing. All right, let's see if there's any other questions. Yeah, I would go with YouTube. YouTube's got some great videos. All right, Frida, so you're asking about injection patient connective tissue. I would certainly try the MSM eye drops. And, I would also consider the possibility of your digestive health. I talk about this particular proteolytic enzyme called serrapeptase. And this digestive enzyme has been shown to dissolve scar tissue in the eyes. So it might be something by increasing your digestive health, either using serrapeptase or nattokinase. That could be another thing to do. But I would stay more with the natural ways to boost your collagen levels. And I would hold off on getting the injections because that's a symptom-based approach that's not really going to deal with the problem. All right, everybody, I think I'm going to call it a night. I want to thank you for joining me. Sign up for my workshop, October 7th to 9th. And it's been great, all your participation and feedback. So thanks so much, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something from the EyeClarity podcast show today. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to subscribe on iTunes or Spotify and leave a review. See you here next time.